Hello, friends. Welcome and thank you once again for showing up, which is an indication that you are continuing to keep going, what I spoke about in last week's episode. So this week, I am here to affirm, acknowledge, and remind you with 100% certainty that you're good enough. That's right. You're good enough.
I'm Stephanie Filardi. Welcome to Mind the Gap, the podcast. I believe many people fall short of living the life of their dreams simply because they get stuck in what I call the gap. The vision behind this podcast is to help you understand how to navigate the gap and in the process, awaken to the life that is waiting for you. It starts now. Let's go.
Let's begin by arriving in the present moment, taking 3 conscious breaths. Inhale, filling belly, ribs, and chest. Exhale, releasing out of the mouth those limiting beliefs, letting it all go, any negative energy, thought energy, emotional energy, physical energy, energy in all its forms. Inhale, filling belly, ribs, and chest. Exhale, again, letting go and releasing anything that's not serving you, ways of being, behaviors, distractions. And then one more time, inhale, filling your belly, ribs, and chest with that oxygen-rich blood which nourishes you and brings healing. And on the exhalation, let it all go, releasing stale energy, all that stuff that no longer serves you. My intention behind today's episode is to share with you the reasons why you're good enough. And before I do that, I want to explain a little bit about that limiting belief. I've done other episodes on limiting beliefs. You can listen to those. But today I want to laser focus on the you're not good enough. Or in our case, when we say it to ourselves, I'm not good enough. So this is a limiting belief that we experience, most of us, very early on. And it could look like being in the schoolyard and for some reason we're alone, or somebody makes fun of us, or in some way as children we feel excluded or rejected or let down. And we have all experienced that as children in some way. So early on we kind of get this idea that we're not good enough. And then as adults, perhaps we don't get that job we want, or the relationship we have falls apart, or maybe we come upon some financial challenges, and we start to feel bad about ourselves, and we start to feel that we're not good enough. We're not smart enough. We're not young enough. We're not wealthy enough. So all of the not enoughs, and some of us, high achievers, perfectionists, I'm talking about myself, and I'm sure some of you, sometimes it's never enough in terms of what I do in the world, right? I'm writing, I'm doing a podcast, I'm running a business, which in and of itself is a full-time job, a small business in this day and age. seeing clients, creating my next endeavor. So it shows up in many ways. And ultimately, it just makes us feel like SHIT. It puts us in that negative loop. And here's the thing. And last week I discussed to continue, to keep going, right? Sometimes we start on a path and we feel excited and energized and inspired, and we set out to achieve goals, and then we hit that obstacle. And when we hit that obstacle, that's an opportunity for us to keep going. But oftentimes people quit. They stop because they're like, oh, there it is. See, I don't have enough information, or I don't have enough money to buy that house in New York, right? Which, those of you who live in New York, sometimes it's overwhelming, which is what I'm experiencing as I search. I'm like, wow, I'm not wealthy enough, right? So it's important to recognize that on the path to creating the life you want, whatever that life looks like for you, that consciously we may state what we want, state our goals, but on the subconscious level, if we believe we're not good enough, it's not going to happen. Because every time an obstacle or a challenge appears, which they do, it's just part of the process. So accepting that obstacles and challenges are part of the process is key. If we don't clear that limiting belief of I'm not good enough, we won't get what we say we want. We won't get. And it's almost the feeling of having one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake, right? We say we want these goals, but subconsciously, if we have these limiting beliefs running, and we all do, and we often have several, it's not going to happen. And we're going to be exhausted and probably pretty unhappy. So this is an opportunity for me to remind you that here and now today, you are good enough. No matter what has happened, you are good enough. So this is where we get to transition from victim mindset to the fact that we're all co-creators and that we have the opportunity to choose how we see, how we perceive and experience that has happened in our life, no matter how far back it goes, childhood or yesterday. Every moment is a new moment. Every moment is an opportunity to choose beliefs that empower us. You are good enough. You're doing great. You're unstoppable. The only person that can stop you is yourself. And what stops you are those limiting beliefs that are in the subconscious. So part of the coaching that I do in the world with clients, and pretty much coaching always, right? I open my mouth, and you can't not be a coach when you're a coach, right? So my family and friends know this. Part of the coaching that I do is really designed around illuminating and uncovering what those limiting beliefs are, so that we can bring those limiting beliefs out of the subconscious into the conscious, into the light of awareness, so that we can look at them, understand them to a certain extent. We don't have to go nuts psychoanalyzing, because I don't think that necessarily serves anymore. But it's helpful to get an understanding and to see the patterns, and then to clear not only the belief, but the energy around the belief. And that's where I integrate my shamanic practice with the coaching. So what we end up doing is we have this blank canvas again, beginner's mind, that innocent childlike desire that says, yes, I can. Yes, I'm good enough, right? Children just go for it. Free spirits go for it. People that are successful go for it. So once we clear that limiting belief and the associated energy, then we start to rewire the subconscious. We start to rewire the brain. And that over time, you can coach yourself through issues. So when you see that play of I'm not good enough showing up, you stop. You have compassion for yourself, always. Acknowledge it and choose a different belief. I'm good enough. I got this. Because you are good enough. So as always, I am here to acknowledge, affirm, support, and remind you that you are good enough. If you want additional support, if you're interested in the coaching that I'm doing, please reach out. I'd be more than happy to share with you what I'm up to, how I may serve you, and help you create the life of your dreams. Reach out to me. My website, it's my name, stephaniefilardi.com. You're doing great. You got this. And you are good enough. Let us celebrate that. Let's go. Let's go.
If you find this podcast helpful and if it provokes you in any way, meaning you love what I have to say, or maybe you don't like it because it triggers you, awesome. I've moved something in you, and perhaps you will want to share this with someone else in your life who might be interested in being moved. So you can find us on Apple, on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts. And as always, feel free to share links with people you love, because remember, we are in relationship with each other. So the more that you are present and you invite other people on the journey, the more peaceful world we will live in, because we will be together understanding these concepts. So I thank you for your support, and you help us keep the show going by sharing it, by liking it, by giving us reviews, and helping us to grow. Thank you.